Welcome to episode 121 of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. My name is Caleisha, and you can find me anywhere online as the Dear Tani. I'm coming to you today from my home in Central Florida, in my backyard, in my tent. Very excited about this tent. But also, side note, very windy today, on and off. So, what are you gonna do? If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I did take last week off, and it was very nice. It was very nice not to have to edit. But I'm glad to be back with you guys. Another side, my dogs, Kiva and Toot, are outside with me. So you might get to see them popping in. You're definitely going to see Tootie because she looks like a Jedi right now. They both had surgery over the last couple weeks. If you don't follow me on Instagram, Kiva had to get teeth pulled, and she had like a lump under her arm that she got removed. And Tootie had a few tumors that had to get removed, and she also was spayed. So Tootie kind of looks like Frankenstein on the belly right now, or Frankenstein's monster. But because she had such extensive incisions and stuff, and lots of stitches, we had one of those collars, or cones rather. But one, she hates it, and two, she can still get to some of her stitches, and she has been licking them. So what we decided to do, I decided to do, was to get a baby onesie and cut a hole for her tail and just put her in a onesie. And so now she kind of looks like a Jedi. Matter of fact, let me show you Jedi Tootie. Come here, Toot. Please don't knock over the camera. Come on this side. No? You're just going to do it the hard way? That's fine. You got to come all the way in the tent. There's a lip at the front of this tent, and she just has not gotten it together with stepping over that thing. But here's Jedi Tootie. What is on your face? You got sticker briars on you? I cannot handle you, dude. In true dirt fairy fashion. Here she is. Oh, you stink. What were you rolling in?
Fragrances.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But anyway, so she's got her onesie on, and it seems to be keeping her from licking her stitches. At least she can't get immediately to them. But yeah, they both are eating, running around, being their normal selves. Tootie is being just a little bit more like clingy, which is understandable after big surgery. So there you go. And seeing how this onesie fits her, is it bad that I want to buy her another onesie? Like, Tootie, you need clothes. You don't need clothes. This is Florida. But you're cute in clothes. Do you want the clothes? Not really? All right. Only for Christmas? Okay. But yeah, so Kiva just turned around quickly and looked over the fence. I thought there was somebody back there watching me. Or not watching me, but looking. Here, go on. She just left so much dirt behind her. All right. So yeah, that's a brief overview of the shenanigans that might take place in and around the camera. If Kiva walks by, she's probably going to hit it with her tail. If Tootie walks by, she's going to probably make a lot of noise. It is what it is. Anywho, so bright spots. So I went through last week's comments, and I found two things to share with you guys for bright spots. One of them is a bright spot, and the other is I guess something fun to do. Tootie, please don't walk off. Okay. So the bright spot comes from Kim, who is Psycho Who Girl. And Kim says, my bright spot this week is super simple and very funny. I was putting in an order for grocery store pickup this weekend and found an ice cream I haven't had in years. I eat no sugar added ice cream because I live with a diabetic. Anyway, I found Rocky Road ice cream in no sugar added. Trust me, it's a big deal. You can't typically find the fancy ice cream in no sugar added. I basically did a happy dance when I found it. I haven't had ice cream in a little bit. Tonight might be an ice cream night. I do think so. Thanks, Kim, for the idea. The inspiring and positive comments comes from Urban Yarn. The sun just came out real strong. The positive or inspiring and positive comment comes from Urban Yarn, and it says, put on your favorite song and sing into a makeshift microphone. My choice of handheld is normally a wooden spoon, but a hairbrush, Sharpie marker, or for those headset wearing techies, a pipe cleaner twisted around the ear works. I just found that hilarious, and I think that's a great idea. Except for sometimes, like when I start listening to my music, like I have a radio station or a station on Pandora built around John Mayer, and that channel plays like all of the music from high school years, and it's the jam. And sometimes I start singing, and then evidently I'm singing too loud for, my husband and my brother-in-law, and my husband comes in the room and he's looking at me like this, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was just feeling it. I was feeling the music, man. It was taking me back. So those are our bright spots. Bright spots are positive moments, good things, like those things, like good things that you want to share. And you can leave them in the comments below the videos. And I typically share a couple in the following video. Or we do have a bright spots and positive moments thread on Ravelry. I will be honest, I have not been following or like keeping up with the threads on Ravelry, but I'm going to get back up on it. So if there is like a positive moment or a bright spot or something like that that you want to share, best bet is to comment under the video. Let's talk about some projects. One moment, there's a bug in here and it's bothering me. How about we talk about some fibery stuff? So there was just some sort of celebration that went down the road. You can probably still hear, I don't know if it's drums or somebody's car stereo bass that's just up that high. But somebody is celebrating something and a lot of people are really excited. And there was like police sirens and car horns and all manner of shenanigans rolling down the road behind me. Anyway, let's talk about some fibery things before the sun goes down. I have two finished objects. First, I'll show you the smallest one, which was kind of a spur of the moment project. So I took a picture of this little macrame jar in Michael's one day, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, I bet I can make that. So I looked through my little collection of things to put stuff in, and I found this vase. I was like, okay. And another thing that I happened to have was a bag of macrame cord that I got from a thrift store for 10 cents. And it was probably like maybe 4 or 5 yards of this cord. So I just jumped in, as I do with pretty much everything. Just jumped in. Now, I will say that I've never done macrame before, but I did used to do those keychains like back in elementary school, they had those plastic lace keychains, like we called it GIMP. And basically the stitches or the knots that you tie for macrame are the same ones that you tied when you were doing the keychains and stuff with the GIMP. So yeah. So my little, who is this? My spider plant, one of my spiderlets. This is actually the one with the super excited roots. They haven't gotten much longer, but this one is living in here, and there you go. So I have 4 knots, 4 sections going around. Sorry, my nails are filthy because I was planting stuff. I'm just turning into a real plant mama over here. But there's 4 sections going around the vase, and you have this one here, and then it branches off and you have a knot here, and then it comes back and joins up here, and then on the bottom, if I could not dump the water out, yeah, I just like, I don't know what kind of stitch that is, but I did that. And I was trying to figure out how to knot it so that, you know, it would be secure but my vase would still stand up, and I couldn't figure that out. So just like I did with that weaving, I just trimmed the ropes down, and then put hot glue. And now it stands up and it's non-slip. Double duty. The only thing that, it doesn't really bother me per se, but I would like to have, I guess, the forethought if I were to do this in the future. I tied these onto a piece of yarn and then tied the yarn around the neck of the vase. I should have used a piece of the actual rope, but because I didn't have it planned and I didn't know what I was going to do, I didn't want to cut the rope short. But I totally could have done that because I had at least a yard's worth of scraps left over, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so that's my little macrame vase. The party continues, and it just sits on my desk with my other little, I have a little vignette that I put together the other day. I was having a hard time concentrating. Matter of fact, today and yesterday I was having a really hard time concentrating on work, and like I just couldn't focus. So yesterday I took a break, I took a brain break, and rearranged a little section of my plants, and this is kind of in the middle of it. So matter of fact, I'll put a picture of that little scene in here because it's really cute and I'm proud of it. Also, if you are wondering what this is, I have 2 strings, here's one right here. I have 2 strings of battery operated fairy lights. Yay! I wonder how much it costs to get like police to be a part of your social distance birthday party. Anyway, so that was my first finished object. I had a lot of fun doing it. I used up all of that random cord from my stash, so that felt nice to get something out of my stash. And it was something that I had at home. Plus the cord was 10 cents, which makes me feel like some kind of awesome. But my other finished object, okay, it's basically finished. I just want to do some embroidery on it. So it is my Celestarium shawl, and Celestarium is a pattern by Audry Nicklin, and I've been working on this I think since January. It is a part of my Make 9 list for this year, and for my Make 9 list, every pattern on that list has a word associated with it, and the word for this is dream. Now this shawl is a star map of the northern sky. So look at her. Oh my gosh. And I was saying that I wanted to do a crochet border, which I did. And I went through, let me sit back down. I went through like, I think 4 crochet pattern books looking for an edging to put on this shawl. And I ended up just doing a double crochet mesh. And then I did some beading. So I did, like I skipped every other chain stitch in this row of beading. And then I did a bead on every chain stitch in the next round. And I just love how that looks. It's very simple. And it took for freaking ever, but I think it was the right thing to do. Now, people have been asking me on Instagram, how do you wear a shawl like that? How do you wear a shawl like that? And I don't know. I don't know. So I'm thinking that I'm probably going to end up like, you know, like folding it like that and just zooping it around the shoulders. Zooping? Is that a word? It's not, but I did. Yeah, something like that. Maybe get a shawl pin, make a little capelet. Ooh, I'm so excited about this baby. Yeah. Look at her. Every time I think the party's over, it keeps going. It's the Energizer Bunnies party. Yeah. What else can I say about this shawl? I want to do the embroidery so that you can see exactly what constellations are where, because this looks really nice, but I want to be able to say, oh, there's such and such. Like, even me, the epic star nerd, looks at this and I'm just like, I don't have my bearings at all. Like, not at all. So, yeah, so like I said, this is Celestarium by Audry Nicklin, and the yarn that I used was Loops and Threads Wool-like. I used basically 2 balls. I have a about like a cake about that big left of the second ball, and I used about a whole pack of these golden beads. So excited. I did block this. I steam blocked it. I pinned it out on my bed and then got the iron and steamed and pulled and steamed and pulled. And since the wool-like is acrylic, I don't have to worry about it like contracting. I don't have to worry about it losing its shape or anything. So that is done. I have to weave in the ends and figure out how to do the embroidery. I tried a couple different ways, but I thought about doing a running stitch kind of embroidery, and then I thought no. I haven't tried back stitch. Back stitch might be the way to go, because there is still quite a bit of stretch in the fabric, so I don't want the stitches of the constellations to look loose and droopy. So backstitch might be the best way to do, you know, to go about it. I'm gonna go let Tootie in the house so she can stop looking sad by the door. All right, so that is everything for Celestarium. I will only have it on here as a project one more time, and that is to show it to you guys with all of the stitching done. Matter of fact, I just want to show it to you guys one more time because I'm very proud of this thing. Let me make sure it looks like I have on pants on the internet. I love it. and from so far away, like, it looks so good. I wish I had more hands. Yes, work. So yeah. And part of me wants to like stretch it even more and steam it, you know, to try to get it even bigger, because, you know, I like big shawls, y'all. But I don't want to kill the acrylic. Oh, so that's everything for finished objects. So works in progress. I do have a couple things going. I guess first I'll show you like the random project. So I was looking at my yarn and I just wanted to use this one. This is Lion Brand Woolies, and it is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. It's a DK weight, and the colorway is Poseidon. I think I bought this during the Pisces season make along last year, I think. But yeah, I really like those colors, of course, and I'm pairing it with this green yarn that I had in my stash, and I am making granny squares. So I have how many? 5? I have 5 completed, I think. Yeah. I have 5 finished, and they're just 6 round grannies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 6 round grannies, and they're like shifting slowly from one color to the next out of the woolies. And then I'm alternating rows with this green, and this green is Red Heart Super Saver. The color is something patty, something like that, I think. But this is just I want to make a granny square, and so I did project. That bug is back in here, the one that couldn't find its way out. You just don't want to be free. That's fine. Do what you do, just don't touch me. I don't know how I'm going to lay these out when I'm done, because since the Poseidon kind of like, it doesn't really gradiate, to be honest. I think the only gradients are between the two shades of green. Actually, it kind of gradiates, not like super long, but is that a knot? Yep. Whatever. I don't know how I'm gonna lay these out. I also don't know how many I'm gonna get, but however many squares that I get from that one ball of Poseidon is going to be the size of this blanket. I don't need a crochet blanket, but I'm making it anyway. Because granny squares, y'all, right? Granny squares. My next work in progress is another shawl pattern, and also another project. This looks like I'm using white yarn. Another project from my 9 Little Words Make 9. This is the Hope Shawl by Snickerdoodle Knits, and the color is getting completely blown out. Oh, there it is. That's better. This is the Grinch colorway by Legacy Fiber Arts. And yeah, so this is what the pattern looks like so far. The finished shawl, it's a crescent shaped shawl, and it has a huge lace portion, and then it has a band of garter stitch, and then a smaller lace portion, I think, and then either the bind off or a little bit more garter stitch and then a bind off. I kind of think that I might nix the garter panel in the middle and just do lace straight out and then garter at the end and then bind off. That's kind of what I'm thinking, because I think it would be really cool to have an all lace shawl, right? Like, you guys can't even see through that because it's blowing out so hard, but that lace is pretty great. the pattern is very, it's very well written, and I messed up. I'm sorry, bugs keep running into the side of the tent, and it's weirding me out. I messed up when I first cast this on because it was nighttime and I was not reading. But luckily I didn't get that far in my mess up and only had to like take back 2 rows. But the thing that I really like about this pattern is that it has a set of 3 rhythm. So each combination, each stitch combination is kind of over 3, no, it's like 3 motions that each stitch combination takes. And for me, the things that come in sets of 3s are very relaxing. So the way I do my granny squares, because you have the 3 stitches in each cluster, they're very relaxing. This is very relaxing. I really like that rhythm. So that's kind of why I've been thinking about nixing the garter stitch on the, like in the midst of all this lace, and just lace straight out. You do have to purl back, which I may start knitting backwards back across because I want to practice that technique. But yeah, man, the lace is really, like, it's working up really pretty. I don't even know how far I am into this lace section. Let's see. I'm a little bit over halfway through. So here is dirty yarn. Here is the yarn. And like I said, this is the Grinch colorway by Legacy Fiber Arts. It's on their Cozy Toes base, and I actually received 2 skeins of this for Christmas from viewers of the podcast, which just warmed my Grinchy heart, because if you're new and you did not know, I'm a fan of Mr. Grinch. Like, for real. I know the story verbatim. I have to watch the cartoon every year, and when I do watch the cartoon, I'm saying all the words along with it. I have plenty Grinch stuffed animals, stuffed toys. I think I have like 3 copies of the book. I have the live action video, I have the cartoon video. I'm going to, oh no, I do have the new animated one. I think I have that. I'm pretty sure I do. I have a Grinch shelf. The love is deep. I've been wearing Grinch pajamas like pretty much throughout this, the quarantine, because I have that many pairs of Grinch pajamas. I've got a Grinch onesie. The love is real. It's real. It's real. And speaking of the Grinch, someone on Ravelry saw this pattern and sent it to me and was like, I saw this and I immediately thought of you. And it's actually a free colorwork hat that says Grinchy across it, and has like little like Grinch shoes, and I think either Christmas trees or presents, something like that, but it says Grinchy, and it's a free pattern. And I was like, I guess I'm gonna have a Grinch hat. So you know, July is coming up. I might do something like that, like Grinchy in July. Is that gonna happen? I don't know. It might, but that's a pretty cool, yeah, Grinchy in July might have to happen, for completely selfish reasons, might I add. All the Grinch. But anyway, so that, like I said, that's a part, that shawl is a part of my my Make 9, and the word attached to that one, of course, is hope, because it is called the Hope Shawl. If you can hear that banging, my neighbors are working out and they're doing deadlifts, which I did not realize was happening. Early in the quarantine, my neighbors would be working out in their garage and doing deadlifts, which are just, you know, from the next house over, with the doors and windows closed, you just hear all of this banging. And I thought regularly that it was thunder. And then I was confused because the sun would be shining. And then I realized what was happening. Exercise was happening. Anywho, I started a pair of socks. And this is actually going to straddle into stash positions. So I started a new sock. I have a cuff. There it is. This is the Lemon Drop colorway of the Lion brand sockies. I got this yarn when one of my local yarn shops closed, the Barn Yarn, and she had like, I think 30 or 40% off of everything in the store. So I got this along with some other things, but I have wanted this colorway for a really long time. And when I got it, I was like, okay, I have to use this for a special pair of socks, because I'm that person. You guys already know, if you've heard this rant before, I like to save special things for like a special moment, which is something that I need to get out of. I need to just use it up, like use the special things. But so I decided to start with this. Because I want to stretch this yarn like across multiple projects, I think what I was thinking of doing is using this as the cuffs, heels, and toes of the sock, and then this as, you can barely even see that, where's the light, there it is, and then the solid one as the body. This is Deborah Norville's Serenity sock in the hot lime color, and the hot lime is like the same color, it all looks white. The hot lime is the same color as that light yellow color in there, so that's pretty cool. But the thing about it is, I recently got 2 new sock patterns and I don't know which one I want to do, which is why I have a cuff and nothing else. So the first sock that I got is the Twister Lolly socks by Anushka of the Crimson Stitchery. These socks are like, they're full lace. You know what? I think I just made my decision. I think I'm going to do the Twister Lolly socks in a white yarn, because I have this desire to knit a white lace pair of socks. I don't know why. I don't know. So I think I'm going to do that in white. Anyway, so I got Twister Lolly socks by Anushka, and then I was scrolling on Instagram and I saw, I follow My Knitted Wardrobe, and she recently released her first pattern on Ravelry, first sock pattern. So, and it's called Laid Edges. If you don't know the lingo, to have one's edges laid. Okay, let me back up. Laid edges is a phrase that is used when speaking about somebody's hair. So these are your edges, the edges of your hair, your hairline. So to have your edges laid is to have them like slicked back. And a lot of times, if you see girls, they'll do like little swoops in their edges, or just have them like, it's intentional. Like, you didn't just, no, you purposefully laid your edges in such a way. So when I saw the name of this pattern was Laid Edges, I thought, well, obviously this has to happen. And it's also free. So, and I wanted to, whenever I see someone who's like trying to start out or something like that, I do want to try to support and like knit their patterns or crochet their patterns, and kind of like signal boost if I can. So these 2 sock patterns were ones that I was like, okay, which one does this yarn want to be? And you know, I did come to this decision last night while I was knitting this cup as well. I was pretty sure that I was going to do the laid edges pattern with this. The only thing is that laid edges is a DK weight sock pattern. So I'm just going rogue. So I think I might do something else with this yarn and actually knit her. I said her Instagram handle, it's my knitted wardrobe, but her actual name is Kellie Macpherson. I might actually knit her socks the way she wrote it. Who would have thunk? But I do have some DK weight yarn. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So we still don't know what this is gonna grow up to be, but I'm going to be knitting the laid edges out of something else. And Twister Lolly, I think I'm gonna do out of white yarn. And yeah, so those are the first two patterns that I got, and my last little work in progress. And then the third pattern that I got was Candelaria, which is a cardigan pattern by Sandra of Nomad Stitches. Is that right? Yeah, Nomad Stitches. And last year I made, was it last year? I think it was last year. I made a tote bag that she designed, and it was called, I want to say the Sunburst tote. I could be wrong. I will fact check that. But I really enjoyed that pattern. It was another one that I misread and got halfway through the body of the tote, and I was like, this isn't looking right. And then I went back and I looked at what I was crocheting, and I looked at what she told me to do and realized that I was not following instructions. So when you follow the instructions, you get the thing. But I do need to get that tote bag back out. I made it out of like this cotton yarn. I think it was cotton. But no, was it cotton or linen? I can't remember, but I enjoyed it. And I need to take it out and line it with some fabric so that I can like use it more, because it is crocheted and it's kind of a lace crochet kind of type deal. So like I carry around a lot of ink pens and crochet hooks, and those would definitely not stay in that bag very long. But I really enjoyed making that pattern once I got myself together and actually followed what the designer said to do. But yeah, Candelaria is a pattern that I've had in my wish list for quite a bit actually, and Sandra recently had a sale, so I was able to get it for a % off, which always makes me happy whenever I can save some money, because really, do I really need to be buying a lot of patterns? No. Does it kind of make me feel better while I'm stuck in the house? Yes. Am I gonna guilt myself about it? No. So yeah, so those are my 3 stash positions. Very, very happy with them. And yeah, so that will take us into Caleisha and the Babe, and we actually have a resurrection, guys. So when I first got my spinning wheel, I have a Babe, what's it called? Fiber Garden? I don't know what it's called. It's a Babe spinning wheel, a single treadle spinning wheel. And when I first got it, I had this basket that I would keep all of my spinning stuff in. All my bobbins would go in there. You know, I was nice and organized. Now, not so much. But I have been thinking throughout this whole time being at home that I really need to get my spinning wheel out and spin through some of my my fiber collection. Still haven't done that, by the way. So I was doing something and I knocked over my spinning basket, and this bobbin came out. Now when I bought this spinning wheel, I bought it used. I got it secondhand from someone on Craigslist, which was amazing. And I have, I think, 3 lace bobbins and 1 no, it's not bulky. It's like the regular one. I don't remember what it's called, but there's lace, there's the regular one, and then there's a bulky bobbin. I had 3 lace and 1 of the regular. And I decided to start spinning plastic bags. I don't remember what the project was that I was going to do with these, but I spun the whole regular bobbin full of like plastic bags. And the way that I did that, or the way that I prepped them, was I would take the plastic bag and smooth it out. I would cut off the bottom and cut off the top, so like right underneath the handles. And then I folded it like twice, so that it was about like that wide, like this. And then I would cut across till I had like this much space between the end of the cut and the fold. So I would cut like that. And then when you open it back up, you have slits. So then what you do is you cut diagonally from slit to slit, and it makes a long strand. It's basically how you make t-shirt yarn. But so I had this long strand of plastic bag, and then I just spun that. So what I ended up with was basically plastic twine, like that. And I'm going to go, or I think that I'm going to go back and ply it, because, yeah, I am. I'm going to go back and ply it, because even when it's twisted, you can still pull the plastic apart. Like, you know how you can rip plastic? You can still do that while it's twisted, and it's considerably harder. Excuse me. It's considerably harder to do. Okay. It's considerably harder to pull this plastic apart and break it when it's plied. So I think I'm going to send it back through my spinning wheel and do a two ply. And then probably, because I'm really getting into plants now, I'm probably going to make some sort of mat to put underneath my plants for purely decorative purposes. It's not going to really do anything, but I think it would be cool to have like a little plastic yarn mat that goes underneath my plants. Oh no, I do remember what I was going to do. I was going to make a market bag. So scratch that whole idea for the plant mat. I'm going to make a market bag. There we go. Memory. So that's the only thing that I have for Caleisha and the babe. I think what I also want to do is just kind of pull out my fiber so that I can refresh myself on what I have, and you know, get back into that craft. So yeah, Caleisha and the babe, done. Next we have Plant Mama Life. So if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I finally got I say finally, like I've been doing this for a really long time. No. That I got a string of pearls plant. And this is the plant that I have been most excited about. And probably because I don't think I'd ever really seen it before. And then I started seeing it online and seeing it in videos and stuff like that, and it just looks so cool. And so I was poking around on Etsy to see if anybody sold it, because nowhere near me like physically sells it. So I couldn't like order it for store pickup or whatever like that. So I looked on Etsy to see if anyone was selling it. I did find a seller, but I've never ordered anything living on the internet. So the pessimist in me was like, homie, you're about to buy this plant and you're gonna get a box of dirt back. That's how I felt. And so I had just liked, you know, the picture in the shop, and, you know, just kind of gone on about my business. And it wasn't even like it was like really expensive, because I was going to get like a 2-inch one. And I spoke about the string of pearls, I think last episode. And one of you lovely viewers sent me a message. Where's all the noise? Sent me a message on Ravelry talking about their experience ordering string of pearls from this shop that they found on Etsy, which happened to be the same shop I was looking at. So I was like, okay. So she had a good experience. I feel okay about this. So yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and pull the trigger, since like someone that I know has, you know, had a good experience with it. It made me feel like I wasn't just, you know, throwing these dollars out into the internet for shiggles. So I put it in my cart, and I am the person who puts things in their cart and just kind of like, do I want to do it? Do I want to do it? I don't know. And then I might move it to save for later. I might remove it from the cart. I might buy it. Who knows? Who even really knows? So put it in the cart. Days pass. And then one day I was feeling some kind of way, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't get back to sleep. And what does one do in the middle of the night when you can't go back to sleep? You buy stuff on the internet. And I bought my plant. And it came, I think in the midst of last week. And it was perfectly like packaged. I didn't get the 2-inch one. I got a 4-inch one, and I'm really glad that I got the 4-inch one, because it's a bit more full, and it makes it feel like you're a real plant, like you're established, you here. So I was just really, really excited to finally have my string of pearls plant. And because I'm just really interested to see, you know, to mark growth, you know, just like we do with our knitting and crochet. You put a progress keeper in to see how much you get done in a certain amount of time. I definitely put progress keepers on my string of pearls. I did. And I took a picture. I shared it on Instagram. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this plant. But now I have a record for like how my plant is growing. And quite a few of the people who commented on that post were saying how they had string of pearls and they killed them. And so I'm a little bit nervous that I might kill this plant, because we all know what happened with the begonia. Rest in peace. I thought it was coming back. I thought it was trying to come back, but I don't think it is. I didn't throw it away. It's still in the pot. So, but rest in peace, begonia. Anyway, I don't want to kill this string of pearls. So send me good plant mama vibes. Yeah. And then with one plant in, a whole box of plants went out. So one of the plants that I had was an arrowhead plant, and it was the Maria variety, and those leaves are dark greenish burgundy. And I thought, you know, when I saw it, I was like, oh wow, that plant is really striking. I really like it. So I got it. But as my journey into plant motherhood like continued, I realized that I don't like dark leaves. Like I don't like dark leaves. So I took a picture of it and I sent it to one of my friends who lives near me, and I asked her if she liked it. Do you want this? And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, it's so pretty. Bet. So I ended up giving her that arrowhead. I gave her my purple waffle. So Minerva, the purple waffle, is no longer living with us. And then I gave her a few cuttings and, you know, like some other little things, just like planty gifts. Here, grow all the things. So it felt really good to be able to take cuttings from plants that I have and give them to a friend so that she can then grow her own plants from them, which is really cool. And she's actually the friend, if you watched, I don't know if it was I think it was the last vlog that I did. I made some masks for her at the beginning of the quarantine, and she paid me in a broccoli plant, which is doing really, really well right now. But you know, she's that kind of person. She's a gardener, like food gardener. So when I gave her these house plants, she was like, "Oh, do you want this?" And she had a root. She said it's called Dasheen. And to my understanding, it's kind of like some sort of yam kind of yam kind of root. But it grows into and the leaves that it has are these big, beautiful leaves, and just like really, really striking and really beautiful. And so she was like, "Yeah, you can have this, you know, and maybe it'll grow." She's like, "I don't know if it's dead." I'm like, I kind of feel like plants never die. They're just hiding. So she gave me 2 of those, and those are currently planted. So we'll see how they develop, and I'm really excited to see what happens with those. But yeah, man. So my plant mama life, that story is kind of stepping over into life and whatnot. So if you hadn't guessed, the crafty stuff is done. But so life and whatnot. This what was it? Last Saturday was when I went to give my friend these plants, and we had planned a socially distant coffee chat. And she has a back patio. So she was at one end of the patio and I was at the other. I had my camp chair and, you know, like all of my crocheted knit, a little basket and stuff. And she had her little setup, which was kind of like my setup in the tent, but she had it on like a patio, and really nice. So she had the lights and she had her plants, she had her pillows. It was really, really awesome. Very much her personality. So we just hung out and talked, and we watched the Erykah Badu versus Jill Scott, and oh my Lanta. When I tell you, she and I went through all of the feels. We were laughing, we were crying, we were just everything, just jamming out, dancing, singing. It was so good. But it's so crazy to think about the people that we were when this music was happening, like when this music was so heavy in our lives, like both of us. And it was just really good. Like, she and I were roommates. Were we roommates in college at all? I don't think we were roommates in college. I think we were just roommates after college. Yeah. Ooh, college was far back. But yeah, we just call it college roommates. And we had a lot of the same friends. We were both in Art and Soul, the poetry club, so we were tight. And so because we were so close to each other, you learn a lot about what the other person is going through, the struggles that they're having, their ups and downs and stuff like that. So to be able to sit with her and listen to that music and listen to it as the people that we are now, she said something that was really striking to me. She said, "I wish that I could go back and tell the girl who was listening to this music that it ends up okay. Like, you're okay." And I'm like, dude, like, if we could do that, like, if anyone who has lived through the flaming hot dumpster fire trashness of life and you come through the other side, if you had the option to go back and just be like, I know this is real and that's okay, but you come through it, like, would you do that? Like, would you go back and tell yourself, like, you get through this, it ends up okay? I like to say that I would, like, I want to go back and tell her that she's, like, to tell Caleisha that she's gonna be okay, that it's gonna be okay. Like, you come through it, you find your laugh again, you find your colors again, you find your people, you enjoy being yourself, you're able to be yourself, you're happy, you have good conversations with your parents, you have a husband who is really supportive of the person that you are, and fights to pull you out of like dark spots, you know, who sees you in your dark spots and is okay with you, you know, like, okay, that's my Caleisha, and I know that sometimes this happens, and I know that she's gonna be okay, but if she needs me, I'm here. Like I feel really strongly that's Lamar. He's very much like that. But when I think back to Caleisha of of yesteryear, I just remember the overwhelming, all-encompassing, world-swallowing sadness, and her always questioning, like, is it worth it? Is tomorrow really worth today? And I am so glad that I kept waking up in tomorrow, you know? About to get emotional on you guys. Didn't see that coming. But for real, like, if you are going through the hot garbage dumpster fire-ness of your life, just keep moving forward. You know, like, tomorrow might be a better day. Tomorrow might be even more hot garbage than today was, if we're completely honest. But the desire and the determination, matter of fact, the determination to keep moving forward in hopes that tomorrow is going to be better is so important, you know? I scratch desire because sometimes you don't have the desire to move forward. Like, sometimes you don't want to move forward, and I completely understand that. I've definitely had those days where I'm just like, nope, I'm just a lump. That's it. That is the epitome of Caleisha today, is a lump of nothing. And I don't have the desire to try to be anything more than a lump of nothing. But I have to be determined. I have to put that on purpose. Hi, Auntie Gigi. I have to put that on purpose energy on my life and say, like, okay, if we're a lump today, all right, that's fine. Let me try to be a little less lumpy tomorrow, you know? And then when I'm feeling good, feel good. You feel that good. and do that. Like, yeah. So if you feel like a lump, it's all right. And I hope that you're able to feel less lumpy tomorrow. So before I get choked up talking about stuff, y'all, that Jill Scott and Erykah Badu versus was so good. And I realized that I am more of an Erykah Badu fan than I am a Jill Scott fan, because I knew, like, all of the music that Erykah Badu was playing, which is fine. And I knew, like, a little bit, like, I knew the older music that Jill Scott was playing. And it was just, it was so good. And there was this one song that Erykah played, and she was DJing or whatever, and she goes, oh, I'm gonna play something really obscure. And so I was like, oh, cool, you know, like, hidden tracks. She played this song called Today, and as soon as it came on, I was like, oh, that song. I could not remember what it's attached to. And I said to my friend, I was like, this song, it has like a flavor. It has like a flavor and a feeling and a smell. Like, this particular song is attached to some strong memory. But the problem is that memory had to have been in the midst of like depressed Caleisha, because I cannot put my finger on it. And it's like, And so like I even went and I found it. Like, I found it on YouTube. I'm gonna link it down below. So if you wanna hear the obscure Erykah Badu song that just sent me all the way into my feelings, you can click that. But I found it and I was like, oh man, I know I have this song. I had to go back through my CDs, and I found the space where that CD should be in my collection, but the CD is not there. So I feel some kind of way about that. It's okay. We're good. We're gonna find it, maybe. But if not, it's on the internet and we're fine. But oh my goodness, that song, and even when I'm thinking of it now, I feel like the memory of that song, or the memory that that song is tied to, is right here. And I am so close to touching it, but it's just outside of my grasp. I'm just like, what are you? Touch it. I can't reach. But it felt good. So whatever it is, it's a good feeling. But I just thought that was hilarious. She's like, yeah, I'm going to play something obscure. And I'm like, that's my jam. Fan. But yeah. So we had a good time sitting and talking and drinking our coffee and listening to music and just kind of being in each other's presence. And then the next day was Mother's Day. And I talked to my mom, I FaceTimed my mom, I FaceTimed my grandma, which was kind of funny because she held the phone down here like the whole time. So it's just like a grandma's nose the whole time. So yeah. If you're a mom, I hope that you had a good Mother's Day. And yeah, that was kind of everything I wanted to share about last weekend. I have slept in the tent overnight, and happy to say that the sprinklers did not get inside, so thumbs up for that. It's just, I'm very glad that I went ahead and purchased this tent. So the tent is a 4 to 6, is it? Or is it 2 to 4? I think it's a 4 to 6 person tent. And there's a giant bug somewhere behind this tent, and it's just, But I think it's a 4 to 6 person tent, and the half of the roof, like you can see a little bit right there, it's mesh. So this side is mesh, and then we've got the mesh window here, and then the window in the front is mesh. So essentially you've got like see-through ceiling, which is really good, especially for stargazing and stuff like that, which I did try to do. The night that I spent outside was Sunday night? No, I don't remember what night it was, but there was a meteor shower. However, it was also the supermoon, so the moon was a floodlight. And typically whenever you go to watch meteor showers, the best time to do it is kind of like 4 in the morning. So I basically slept outside the whole night, and then around 3:30 I set an alarm to wake up and look. And of course, the whole night, whenever I woke up, or midnight, aside from the fact that the moon was blinding me, the sky was clear. 3:30, wake up, sky clear. All right. So then I decided that I was going to go back to sleep and wake up probably, I think it was like 4:20, 4:30. I was going to wake up. Did that, wake up 4:20, 4:30, clouds. And not even patchy clouds where you can kind of see a little something. It was like sheets, just sheets of clouds. I was offended. So I just rolled over and went back to sleep. And then I was falling asleep, and the neighbors' sprinklers turned on. And as soon as their sprinklers turned on, like sprinklers have a very specific sound when they turn on, I snapped up out of my sleep and I was like, oh my gosh, because I didn't have, because I was stargazing, I didn't have the cover on the tent. So I jumped up, got out the tent, pulled the cover over, locked it down, everything, jumped back in the tent, zip it up. It's like, okay, go back to sleep. Then I hear our sprinklers come on. And I woke up because even though I had put the cover on, I left the windows open so that I could get a breeze or whatever. And of course, there was a sprinkler right behind the tent. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. So I get up to undo this little button toggle thing, and I was pretty much freaking out because in my mind, all I could think of was, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be here in this window trying to unbutton this thing, and the sprinkler's gonna come on and it's gonna shoot me in the eye through the screen. It's just gonna be like, so I'm just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And I had to say, okay, Caleisha, calm down. All you have to do is unbutton the button and zip up the window. It's fine. You're okay. We're gonna make it. Like, I'm pep talking myself to not freak out, unbuttoning a button, essentially. I'm like deep breathing. So I finally get it open like an adult, zip it up, zipped up the front, laid back down, had time to get comfy in my sleeping bag again, and then the sprinkler turned on. So there was plenty of time. I don't know what I was freaking out about. But yeah, it was a really good night sleeping. I was cozy. Yeah. And I don't know, I don't think it's dark enough for you guys to be able to see my lights. A little bit. So the light set that I have in here are ones that I bought at Christmas, and they're called Beat Sync. And they basically have a microphone, a microphone inside of them. So if you put the battery pack of the lights near like a music source or something like that, they actually will flash in time to the music, which is amazing. So I have 2 sets of these in here, and I just like putting them on like a slow blink, little twinkle. So that's everything. I guess I'll lean you up so that you can see. Yeah. So there's my twinkle lights, and so you can see how much open space there is in the roof of this tent. It's really cool. Kiva and Tootie specifically, really loves the tent, except for she has a hard time getting in it because stepping over the little lip of it, I don't know, it just hasn't like sunk in yet. But she'll come in here and lay down on the blankets. No, it's crooked. I don't know. She'll come in here and lay on the blankets and just chill out with me. And Kiva's coming here too. And it's just a nice outdoor space. And I hadn't realized how nice it was going to be to have the option of an outdoor space. Especially because it's my own. That's been very important to me as an introvert in quarantine with family. It's important to be able to have a space where I can just not worry about disturbing anybody, just be in my own little whatever. This video is going to take so much editing because the wind is getting mighty rowdy. So sorry if I miss some windy bits and you hear the wind. I am not the boss of the wind. So that is everything for this episode of the Quirky Monday Craftcast. I have picked up my cuff and I'm working on it again because the wind was just blowing for 2 minutes straight. But you don't know that. Or at least you didn't hear it. I hope that you and your family are well. I hope that you are doing okay in your quarantine. If you're in a state that's opening back up, I hope that you're able to venture back out into the world safely. And yeah. That's everything. So leave a comment down below of something positive. I really like how Susan of the Knit Lib podcast said it. Like what did she say? A surprising joy? Unexpected joy. That's what it was. So leave a bright spot, positive moment, an unexpected joy, positive good things in the comments. Share those. And if you need to read something like that, read the comments. Check out the comments. And thank you for being a part of my universe. You have a great day. Bye, friends. Of course, now she just wants to sit still, like she's behaving. There she goes. This dog is ridiculous. Just look at that mess.